been reminded that I haven't put a video up of me actually taking Greenie out for a bit of a spin, so I'm going to do that right now. It's a January day, it's cold, but the sun's shining, the roads are reasonably dry, so yeah, we'll see. Have a little run. I haven't started her up for ages, so I'm going to put the camera there, so you can sit on the bonnet and get the whole starting experience. Right. Y'all ready for this? Oh, no handbrake. Half a tank of gas, no radio, no cigarettes. What can go wrong? Observant might notice a nice cover on the steering wheel. Found the just the plastic rim a bit too thin compared to normal steering wheels you get these days, so it felt a bit weird to drive. So I bought this one, this cover to go on it, which is kind of squeegee and nice and just makes it feel a bit fatter, makes it feel a bit more sturdy, even if it isn't. Along at 40 here. A bit surprised at how tractable the little engine is. I haven't driven one of these before rebuilding this one for years. I've kind of forgotten how they drive. You don't really need to thrash the engine a lot to get some reasonable performance out of it. Where I live here in the New Forest, you can't do more than 40 miles an hour anywhere anyway. So, you know, just have to kind of live with that. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun's quite low. we're in winter. Choking. Damn cyclists. Let's thrash them. There was a lot of talk originally when I started doing this about drum brakes versus disc brakes and how much easier they all are, and you've seen the videos of me taking the brakes apart, which is a bit complicated, a lot more complicated than discs are. But on the road the drums are great. With just a little bit of setup they work brilliantly. And of course you actually have a proper handbrake that works solidly as well. Unlike the disc brake versions with those little tuppenny bit brake pads which are flipping useless. Everybody loves a humpback bridge in their 2CV. Start to think as you're driving along, well, you know, 28 horsepower is really more than enough. Well, we have got a hill coming up. The hill that we're going to climb, well, there's going to be a couple actually on this route. If you stick with the video that long. We're up to 50 now, that's a bit naughty. Slow down a bit. Maybe not. Doesn't want to slow down. It's interesting how it just sort of gets to a speed and seems happy with it without you having to stomp your foot into the floor and just kind of leave it there really. I've noticed I've got the muff on the front grille, so I'm getting a bit more warmth back in the car. Still confuses me a bit because I drive lots of different cars and I'm looking for a gear lever down here. Quite realise how close it is to the dashboard. So kind of much easier really. I had a Fiat 131 Sport years ago. Before it rusted away. That had a gear lever that you could just sort of move your wrist about and it changed. It was fantastic. Very, very direct. This gear change is not exactly the same, but similar. I thought I'd let him go first in case he's going up the hill we're going up. We have a lot of these one-lane roads. I I suppose the real test is, can we keep up with a Volvo V70 on a steep hill? Sticking with third because we're going up now. It's not a race, we just have to get there. Through the chicane. We're still right on him. 30 mile an hour, climbing, speed increasing. Oh, there you go. That's a steep hill for around here. So if you live in the New Forest or you live in Holland, you don't have hill issues. I'm looking forward to the summer and being able to get the roof off of this thing. That's what I always used to like when I was a kid. To get to stick your head out the roof. Well, we had Ammies when I was a boy, so you didn't have a roof you could put your head out of. But we knew other people who had Dianes. So you can get your head out on that one, stand up in the bank. That was a particular favourite. Right, you've got your wheel out in the road so I can't see past you. Thank you very much. It's the savannas of the New Forest. But we're doing a little bit more, probably because the speedo's wrong. So a nice humpback bridge coming up. Oh no, there's people on it. Just slow down. Woo! And here we are, coming into sunny Burley. Watch out for the horses. Roll down into the village. Not quite without the engine running. Let's get an electric one. Sure about this whole electric car thing. I mean, I think if you're going to buy a new car, great, go and electrify it. You know, that sounds like a great plan. Close electric through, thank you, sir. But electrifying old cars, why bother? I mean, surely the whole point of them is that they make a funny noise. Sometimes they don't start. That's what they're all about. You stick an electric motor in this, yeah, you still have the wobbly suspension, but what else? Let's change gear. Don't have all the fun of trying to start it. Don't have all the fun of having 30 pounds per square foot of torque to drag you up a hill. So it's going to be a lot of fun, would it? Quite boring, really. You can't replace that with an electric motor, I don't think. Not if you want your senses involved in your driving experience, not just a means to get from A to B. If you want to go from A to B, go and buy an electric car, that's fine by me. Sorry, we've got another hill coming up, I'm going to have to concentrate. Nicely switchback on this one. Keep the revs up. I lifted. Never going to make top gear. The other things I did contemplate was whether I should put a twin choke carb on this like some of the later models in order to gain a couple of extra horsepower. I'm glad I didn't bother. This has got plenty. I haven't thrashed it up the motorway to see how many miles an hour I can get out of it, but that's not what this car's about, is it really? I'm sure it will do 70 if I force it. But it's just happy to cruise around. Pleasure seekers amongst you will now see that we're back into the sun again, so we've been round in a circle. I normally cycle this route at least once at the weekend. I don't mess around with tyre pressures or anything. All the tyre pressures are standard. I know some people raise them up or lower them down depending on what they want to do. I make the steering a bit lighter maybe. I find the steering's perfectly light. I'm not a terribly big or strong guy, but I find it's quite light enough. It does weight up in corners, which is just kind of a characteristic, I guess. Something that you probably don't notice these days with cars and power steering. little Alpha is very similar, although because it's more powerful you can just apply the throttle to get rid of any weight that you find in the steering. Torque steers for a living. The other British cars with rear-wheel drive obviously don't have exactly the same thing going on with the front-wheel drive layout, so you don't get any torque steer. You just get rear steer. Again, very pleasant. It's not even that noisy. I remember I put a pad under the bonnet, which was about 20 quid, something like that. And on the bulkhead I put Dynamat, which is a sort of bitumen-based stuff. That's it, nothing else. I didn't go too mad on it because I just thought, well, you know, at the end of the day, this is 2CV. And unlike when I was a kid, we're not trying to travel from one end of the country to the other to visit people all the time. So I'm not going to be too worried about a little bit of noise. The car certainly seems to turn a lot of heads. Everyone looks around when they see it come past. I have noticed that kids tend to point and laugh. I'm taking that in the spirit intended. All the pubs are shut here. Can't remember what tier we're in, 4 I think. But anyway, the pubs are shut, so you can't go to the pub. Blistering acceleration. Perfectly adequate. Here we are. I'm going to reverse in because I want to reverse into the garage. Lost the mirror there for a second. The other car. And we're home. So there you have it. The spin out in the 2CV. Keep your feet off the dashboard. See you soon. Bye.